What if the greatest warning in the Bible was never meant for unbelievers? What if it was directed at people who were absolutely convinced they were on the right path? Jesus didn't spend his time warning pagans. He didn't chase after people who didn't believe. He spoke to believers, to religious leaders, to experts in the scriptures, and what he said to them was more severe than anything he said to outsiders. Tonight, we are not here to preach a doctrine. We are not defending a religion. We are simply following what the biblical record actually says, and what it reveals is deeply unsettling. Before we go any further, I encourage you to subscribe. This channel examines scripture without filters, without trying to make it comfortable, and without choosing sides. Now, let's begin. When people think of biblical warnings, they usually picture sinners, rebels, or outsiders. But the Gospels show us a very different reality. Jesus reserved his strongest language for religious people, the Pharisees, the teachers of the law, the men who had memorized the scriptures by heart. In Matthew chapter 23, Jesus issues a series of warnings, not against the Roman Empire, but against religious authority. He calls them blind guides. He calls them whitewashed tombs, beautiful and clean on the outside, but full of death and decay on the inside. This isn't just a metaphor or some kind of exaggeration. It's a consistent pattern you can find across all four Gospels. The real danger wasn't rejecting God. It was misrepresenting him while genuinely believing they were serving him. Few passages in the Bible are as disturbing as Matthew chapter 7. Jesus says, "Many will say to me on that day, 'Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles?'" Notice the language here. These people believed, they acted, they spoke in God's name, they did things that looked and sounded righteous. Yet Jesus responds with the most chilling words imaginable. "I never knew you." Not, "I knew you once, but you fell away." Not, "You weren't good enough." Just, "I never knew you." This introduces a terrifying idea that you won't find stated so clearly anywhere else. Religious activity is not the same as a divine relationship. The Bible records faith that looks authentic, that feels real, but isn't. That possibility alone should unsettle anyone who reads the text honestly. And this idea didn't start with Jesus. The Old Testament is filled with the exact same warning. The prophet Isaiah records God saying, "These people come near to me with their mouth and honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me." The prophet Jeremiah condemns temple worship that was happening at the same time as widespread corruption. The prophet Amos describes religious festivals that God outright says he hates and rejects. Not because the worship itself was false, but because real transformation was absent. The Bible consistently separates external devotion from internal alignment with God. That distinction was never removed. It was just ignored. Then, Jesus says something truly chilling. He compares the end of the world to the days of Noah. He doesn't compare it to the time of Egypt, or Babylon, or Sodom and Gomorrah. He specifically chooses Noah. Genesis describes the world before the flood as a place that was religiously aware, not godless. The problem wasn't a lack of belief. The problem was the normalization of corruption. Life just continued as usual. People were getting married, conducting business, going about their daily routines. The judgment didn't come because people rejected God. It came because they no longer recognized how far they had drifted from him. Jesus uses that comparison intentionally to make a powerful point. One of the most consistent themes throughout the Bible is that deception doesn't announce itself. It doesn't look evil. It imitates the truth. The Apostle Paul warns that a false light will masquerade as true light. Jesus warns that the deception in the final days would be so convincing that even the faithful could be misled if they were uncareful. The danger was never obvious darkness. The danger was familiarity, confidence, and certainty. According to Scripture, the most dangerous position you can be in is believing you are safe without ever stopping to examine why. If this video has unsettled you, that reaction is an ancient one. It's the feeling of someone who has just had their assumptions challenged. Like, subscribe, and share this video if you want to continue this series with us. Because the Bible doesn't warn us to fear the evil that's outside. It warns us to examine what we accept inside. And according to the records, many people never did. Thanks for watching.